Hello, movie friends. Welcome back to the show. Hope you are having a great weekend so far. There is a lot of news to cover this week. A lot's happened. Cool news stories, cool new movies were released in trailers. And so let's get into the box office to start things off, Jim.
Let's go. Starting off with, obviously, Avatar is still reigning supreme at the box office, pulled in $37 million domestic. This is past $1.5 billion at the global box office.
It surpassed Top Gun Maverick, so it's over 1.6 right now.
We can expect it's already in its profitable category now of how much money it needed to make to turn a profit. And
I'll actually tell you, it was confirmed. So James Cameron and 20th Century Studios said that the Avatar
Disney.
In Disney, they said that the film is now profitable, and the other sequels 4 and 5 are for sure going to happen.
So it's made a boatload of money, and congratulations to Avatar. M3GAN. Obviously, we called this. I'm calling this movie makes $100 million, just like Smell did. $27 million in its opening weekend. It made $2.75 million on Thursday previews alone. And this is still a great performance, even though they dropped its rating down to PG-13. I believe it was originally going to be a rated R movie, but they made it PG-13. I think obviously they want the teen audience to go see this movie. Obviously, that's why they dropped it down. I'm a little disappointed. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard mixed things. I've heard it's very funny and just a great idea. I wish they kept that rated R. I think it really could have still made $100 million.
I feel like it looked like it was going to be rated R.
But I definitely want to see it. And this is an example of incredible marketing will lead to a film success despite it being a small budget film. Same thing with Smile. It's minimal budget. Great marketing.
Just put actors at baseball games.
People were going as M3GAN for Halloween last year. We're like, what? The movie just came out the other day. It's crazy. So the marketing for M3GAN was top tier. And obviously, you know, James Wan being a producer of that film.
And Blum.
They produced that together. It's just a great working relationship they have. And obviously, we talked last week, I think, how they potentially might merge their companies together.
A super horror company.
Mega horror movies. So congratulations to the filmmakers of M3GAN. That's awesome news.
Yeah, man, it's an original concept. I love it.
Then we have Puss in Boots pulling in $10 million. That's almost at $100 million at its total box office. A Man Called Otto pulled in a paltry $3.4 million.
Ouch.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever added $3 million to its massive global box office. And then Babylon pulled another $1.3 million for the entire weekend. It's at a paltry $13 million for its total box office run, and on a budget of about $90 million. That's what we're estimating. We don't have a complete figure plus marketing. That movie's going to be a huge hit for Paramount. We talked about that last week.
Yeah. In Wakanda Forever, it looks like it's finishing out at $850 million international for its total box office. So very good, obviously, for a film to make that much money. So it was a huge success.
We also just watched The Pale Blue Eye, which just got released on Netflix. It was in theaters last week. I enjoyed it. I love a good period piece, so I recommend it if you also enjoy period pieces.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, we put a review on Letterboxd. It was really well acted and crafted, but the pacing was quite slow.
A little tedious at times, but I think the acting was terrific. Henry Melling was so incredible to watch as Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, the big news story of the week is Gladiator II. There's been rumors about it in development, and I didn't know if it was legit or not, but it is officially confirmed, and After Sun star Paul Mescal is confirmed to be the new lead of the film. He'll be playing Lucius, who was just a young boy in the original Gladiator film. Ridley Scott is returning to direct this film and produce it. I, for one, don't feel like we needed a Gladiator sequel because Gladiator is one of my favorite movies, and it's a perfect film. However, the studio obviously wants to make some money. It's a big brand IP name. They haven't done anything spinning off of it in over 20 years, so I think that makes it a special thing since there's only just one Gladiator. I don't like this idea, but, you know, Ridley Scott is the father of the film. He can do whatever he wants with it. He made Gladiator, so if he wants to do a sequel, go ahead. Paul Mescal is a very talented guy. I loved him in After Sun, so at least they got like a great lead actor to play Lucius.
Apparently, he beat out Austin Butler, Miles Teller, Timothée Chalamet, as well as a couple of other, Richard Madden as well, to get that role. So clearly, Ridley sees something in it. He actually looks a lot like Joaquin does as Commodus, kind of like the same age. They kind of look related. I think that's one of the reasons why he maybe cast him, besides being super talented.
And he already kind of has the Caesar cut in a way.
Yeah, so I think he has the look perfectly. Now, I love Gladiator II. That's one of my favorite movies of all time as well. I mean, you all know that. We talk about Maximus all the time in that movie. my first reaction when I heard the news like last year that there were rumblings of a sequel to Gladiator, I was a little disappointed. However, I'm much more warming up to the idea because I really want to see the swords and sandals genre come back. I really miss those kinds of movies. We don't get them very often. We were talking about with The Last Duel, which came out last year, that was kind of like a rare movie nowadays to have movies with swords and fighting, even though it's medieval. But I love
No sandals.
No sandals. But I love the genre, the ancient war genre, the ancient culture genre. That's something that I've always loved. I've always been drawn to. And I think if Ridley can pull off a successful sequel to Gladiator, which absolutely does not need a sequel, maybe we can see a resurgence in audience demand for this type of movie because they're movies that we grew up on and that we love and adore. And I would love to see it be successful, and I would love to see the story be good. And we're following Lucius, who is Lucilla's son, Commodus's nephew. I'm very curious to see what the story is going to be like. Is he going to be a politician in Rome? Is he going to be in the Senate? Is he trying to bring power back to the people of Rome? Is that his goal?
He's going to become a slave, for sure.
Yeah, will he become a slave?
Yeah.
Who knows? I doubt. Well, I don't know because
he's going to be a gladiator.
Because Jimon Hunsu is coming back as Jabba, and then we have Lucilla, the actress who played Lucilla. She's coming back as well.
Connie Britton,
yeah. So we have returning cast members, which is also very interesting. I'm gonna be there opening night, regardless. I will be seeing it.
Yeah. I suppose you're right. The only way they would greenlight this $200 million.
But also this thing about Ridley Scott, where it's a trend on Twitter and social media, like someone needs to stop Ridley Scott. He must be stopped with the movies he makes. The guy is still great at making movies. He doesn't make amazing movies every time. We talk about how he has some duds, but he's still an excellent filmmaker. The Last Duel was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
That just came out a year ago.
And House of Gucci was good. It was good.
The guy's a great director still. I don't get the hate for Ridley Scott. Like, he's too old.
Leave him alone.
He's past his prime. Someone needs to stop this man. Let the guy do whatever the hell he wants.
He just made probably his best movie this century, so with The Last Duel. So he still got it.
Whoa, Gladiator's 2000.
Is that, yeah, I guess, okay, second best movie of the century.
Watch it.
All right, next up, Jeremy Renner, I think we all know, was in a horrific accident, and he is in the ICU, in the intensive care unit. He is in critical but stable condition. Now, what happened was he owns like a bunch of big plows, like the big snowcats. Like, there's snowcats, but then he has like a huge one. It's a 14,000-pound snowcat.
He's got like a huge ranch, right?
Yeah, he has a huge ranch, and he was helping neighbors plow out their driveways and stuff because their neighborhood lost power. And now, after successfully towing his vehicle out of that driveway, Renner got out of the snowcat, and the massive snow groomer started to roll on its own. In an effort to stop the rolling, Mr. Renner attempted to get back into the driver's seat, and unfortunately, somehow, the plow ran him over. And it was just a big accident. They don't suspect any foul play, the investigators say. So he was run over by the piston bully snowplow, and then his neighbors ran out to help him. He has been treated apparently his chest was caved in, and he had a lot of internal bleeding as well as contusion on his head. And he is obviously in stable condition. He's been posting some stuff on Instagram, but still, he's still in worrying condition. So he's still being treated, but he seems to be in good spirits, and thankfully he's being taken care of.
That is insane.
Yeah, his chest was crushed, and
That
also
is horrible.
his leg was torn up, and he was losing a ton of blood, and his neighbor had to make a quick tourniquet around his thigh to stop him from bleeding out.
I didn't hear the details. I just knew it was a snowplow accident, and I assumed it was really bad because even though they made that post on Instagram where he's like wearing his glasses and he's got like kind of a smile, that there's just the idea and just hearing that it was a snowplow accident.
Yeah,
sounds like it's almost like he almost died.
And it's one of those snowplows that has like that tank chain wheels.
Yeah, they're
those huge ones. To like that's what ran him over.
That is terrible, man. It's nuts when you hear about these accidents. Obviously, these accidents happen to people every day all around the world, but obviously it's a huge celebrity, so it gets national attention.
Someone that everyone has a connection
international
to. International
attention. But this happens every day to people, and it's just, he's just trying to help out his neighbors and be a good friend and try to get people out of their isolated situations if they're stuck in the snow. And that happens. It's just horrible. Man, Jeremy Renner is such a cool guy. I hope he pulls through, and I hope he's okay. Yeah. But man, holy crap, that's wild. I didn't hear the details until now.
It's pretty horrific.
All right, moving on to some more movie news. We got a new poster for Beau is Afraid, which is the Ari Aster Joaquin Phoenix horror film coming out this year in 2023. We're very excited about it. It's an interesting poster. It shows Joaquin at 4 different ages as the character. There's a young version of him, maybe like 11 or 12, then a little older, middle-aged, then an elderly version of Joaquin Phoenix as the character, as I'm assuming he was Bo.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to be living waking nightmares as different versions of himself experiencing the story. So
We'll see.
It looks very intriguing.
If that's, who knows if the plot has anything to do with the poster, but it's an interesting poster, and I mean, it beats the typical floating heads that we get from studios, but Ari Aster's movies always have interesting posters anyways. I think the Hereditary poster is terrific as well.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ang Lee's incredible film, is now 20 years old and is getting a re-release in theaters on February 17th. I think I'm definitely going to go see this because it's...
You bet your butts we're going to go see that.
I remember seeing it as a kid, being blown away by it, and I've revisited it a couple of times over the past decade. It's really an incredible film. Ang Lee is one of the best directors, honestly, of all time, and this is up there for one of his best works.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. And obviously, Michelle Yeoh is getting so much attention for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but for all you youngins who've never seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, go see that in theaters. Michelle Yeoh is terrific in that movie.
Yeah, she's amazing.
That was a big exposure for her to American audiences from China.
And she was in a Bond movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
With Pierce.
That's right. Which one was that?
It was Die Another Day, I think. I believe.
Moving on to some James Bond news.
Speaking of James...
Aaron Taylor Johnson, who we've talked about as the front runner and everyone's just losing their mind about, apparently met with 007 producers about the role. So I think he's clearly the front runner and the favorite, and I'm sure they might ink a deal pretty soon.
Clearly you didn't listen to last week's movie news where I talked about that.
I didn't listen at all.
I did it by myself, and you clearly didn't hear. So we already discussed this.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, it's still being brought up in the news. It's still news.
But someone did a fan art of him in the tux and everything, and he looked good as James Bond.
Nice. Can you send me some more of that fan art?
Speaking of Avatar, Avatar 3 is going to include a Na'vi Fire Nation called the Ash People, and they're going to be more villainous than the other 2 tribes that we've seen so far.
Whoa, that sounds so cool.
It is getting a little similar to Avatar: Last Airbender, the Fire Tribe.
True, but also just in terms of the CGI. They spent so much time developing the water tech. Yeah. Now they have to do it with fire. Yeah. That's really interesting. It's probably going to look incredible.
And I believe, his intention was probably to explore every main element of the landscape of Earth, of Pandora.
Of the universe.
But also, there is, in Avatar: Last Airbender, the elements are each tribe of people. So it is maybe getting a little too similar to it. We'll see. Hopefully it's different.
Cameron's a huge fan, probably.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, he bought the rights to the name Avatar in like 2000, and then when the makers of Avatar: Last Airbender were making their show, they went to try and secure the rights to the name Avatar, and they were already taken by him. And this is well before he...
Yeah, because he was thinking about Avatar, the movies in the 1990s.
So then they had to change... Their original title was going to just be Avatar, so then they had to change it to Avatar: The Last Airbender, referring to Aang being the last Airbender. But it was supposed to be just a clean Avatar.
I'm fascinated to see how they do the fire. The water was so impressive, but now fire, it seems also equally complicated.
Sounds intriguing.
Moving on to Gran Turismo. Now, this was a video game that we played growing up in the 90s on PlayStation and PlayStation 2. Classic. It's fun because it's just a race game. There's no storyline like Need for Speed did. It was just like, don't crash.
Need for Speed had a storyline?
Oh, yeah. Remember? You got to soup up your car. You did missions and stuff. It was like GTA mixed with Gran Turismo.
Without the extreme killing.
Yeah, exactly. But Gran Turismo, the movie's being made right now, and there's a sneak peek at CES in Las Vegas this past week, which is the Consumer Electronics Show. The script has been written by American Sniper's Jason Hall and King Richard's Zach Balin. It's described as the ultimate wish fulfillment tale of a teenage Turismo player whose gaming skills won him a series of Nissan competitions to become an actual professional race car driver. It's based on a true story. The cast is really solid. Orlando Bloom and David Harbour are in this movie. I'm curious to see like an actual trailer. Some of the footage they released looks pretty cool. I love like the POV shots inside the car because that's classic Gran Turismo. But if you're a fan of the game like we were when we were young, definitely check it out and stay tuned for that movie.
Oh, for sure. And next up, some Deadpool 3 news. Hugh Jackman said that he will train for 6 months straight with no other work until filming begins. His full-time job, he said, will be getting absolutely jacked.
I wrote that.
Oh, you wrote that? Well, yeah, it makes sense because at his age, to be able to put on muscle, it requires a lot of work. He can't just do it.
A lot of recovery, too.
Yeah, he can't just do it in a few months. So he knows, he's extremely, obviously, very knowledgeable about working out. And
He knows a thing or two.
yeah, so it actually, I mean, he's been doing a lot of theater the last 2 years. So
Yeah, he does like 8 shows a week on Broadway. So he's already in good shape, but he's
not in muscle shape.
He's still got muscles, but he's very athletically taller,
yeah.
you know. He's in good shape. It's a good base.
He's always seemed like just a naturally athletic person. So, and I think putting on muscle mass did come natural to him. But also he's tall and lanky, so it requires quite a lot of work for him to bulk up. He's so tall. It's hard. I mean, when someone's shorter and they bulk up, they look bigger.
They do like 4 curls and they're huge.
Yeah. But he's like 6'2", so he has to put a lot of work in. And also at that age, he needs a lot of time to do it. So that makes a lot of sense.
A lot of chicken too.
And also you get
chicken and broccoli.
He needs to look intimidating next to Ryan Reynolds, who still is in amazing shape. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, but he knows. I respect his philosophy that like he's been doing this for so long. He knows how to get huge and in shape.
Yeah.
He's like, this is all I'm going to do for 6 months.
You got to put in the work.
I'm gonna take my time with it. I know it takes a lot of work.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting paid $20 million to work out for 6 months.
That's why I wrote his full-time job is going to be getting absolutely jacked for 6 months.
It's amazing.
And he said something like, "Watch out, chickens! You better run. I'm coming for you."
He's eating all the chickens.
The chicken and broccoli, yeah. Moving on to Johnny Depp.
Chicken and broccoli.
We got a couple new images of him and Jean du Barry. I think that's the new title for the French film.
Probably to stray away from The Favorite.
Yeah. La Favorite, because it's called La Favorite.
Yeah,
originally.
Yorgos Lanthimos' film.
So the title is now called Jean du Barry, and he plays King Louis XV. We've got a couple new images of him as the lead character.
Very cool.
Cannot wait. His
Also,
first movie since all the stuff's been going on.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
New trailer alert. Evil Dead Rise has released its first official trailer, and it looks gory, exciting. It looks like it's in the city, which is a new take for the Evil Dead franchise. It's always generally in an isolated place, except for like Army of Darkness, where you have like the medieval setting when there's a ton of people, but it's never been in contemporary city before. So I think it looks like a really cool setting. It's like in an apartment building, it seems like. I'm just fascinated. The gore looks great. The scares look great. I like how it's children dealing with it, which is insane. So I'm looking forward to seeing this film.
Yeah, the filmmaking looks great, and I don't think we had an origin story this week. That's 2 weeks in a row with no origin stories, but this is
I couldn't find one.
This is a Rise story. Rise. At least we got one. Yeah, it's a pretty slow couple of weeks. We went 27 weeks in a row with an origin story.
Well, I initially thought Gladiator 2 might be an origin story, but it's not.
No, it's
not.
Legacy reboot, Legacy sequel reboot. Hopefully they'll go Top Gun with it.
Sorry, guys.
But if we missed any origin stories, let us know. But we still have some more to talk about. Next up, we have some Face Off 2 news, apparently. Nick Cage revealed in an interview recently with Collider that his initial discussions for the film Face Off 2 included a plot that would feature Castor Troy and Sean Archer having children who grow up destined to face off.
No one wants to see that. They want to see the two heavyweights do it.
Yeah.
So this just says some initial discussions. So that doesn't say that this is what the plot of this one is.
Yeah, I think it's just a little news that he was in an interview recently.
Yeah, he's promoting some stuff. Anyways,
yeah, it doesn't work without Travolta and Cage.
That's what people
But
want
I mean,
to
how
see.
do you do that?
Just have them do it again, man. Well, they're doing it, so I mean that's how you do it.
It's got to be them two facing off at the end.
Speaking of Nick Cage, the official trailer for Renfield came out, starring Nicholas Hoult and the Cage Man himself as Dracula. This is a modern contemporary retelling of the classic Dracula tale, with Renfield taking the lead this time around. It looked
like a movie.
Interesting. I wasn't sure how I felt about it because the tone was weird. It didn't seem that funny. And it looked like it was too action-y for like Renfield just fighting people a lot. That wasn't what I was expecting.
So Renfield's Dracula's assistant.
Yeah.
And I think this is what we've been alluding to over the last couple of years with superheroes is that like every movie almost has superhero elements to it or superhero quality. Mm-hmm. And Renfield has like superpowers in parts of this trailer, and he's just like fighting bad guys. And it's like even a Dracula story has to have superpowered beings in it. Obviously, Dracula is a superpowered non-human being, but then giving Renfield superpowers, and it's not like I don't know. It's just
I found it weird.
we're used to seeing vampires with otherworldly strength and everything like that, but it just seems like a superhero. It feels like a superhero movie versus something like Underworld, which doesn't feel like a superhero movie, but this does.
And it felt. I mean, I was surprised by all the action. I was shocked. I was surprised by that.
I do like the design of Dracula, though. I thought it's super creepy. I like his teeth and everything. I would rather they just do an entire movie with him as Dracula, but this is just kind of Hollywood now. Is we got to have a superhero element to a lot of these movies that the studios are putting out, because I think they think that's what audiences want to see. I think a lot of audiences want to see superheroes in pretty much everything.
Yeah, I
now.
suppose so.
So I'll definitely check it out. We love Nick Cage, and Nicholas Holt's a tremendous actor. He looks really talented in this movie. And we know he's talented.
He certainly looks talented.
He looks really good in this movie, as well as the acting. But
it must. I mean, maybe it's a good script for him to sign on. So we'll see.
We'll see.
I just found it to be a weird.
My first
tone.
reaction was just like, it kind of looks like a Marvel movie. It kind of looked
from the director of the Tomorrow War.
Yeah, which I loved.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to.
Although the Tomorrow War scripts was
that movie
iffy.
is sick, though.
But once it gets going, it's sick. But to get there, it was like, oh, okay.
Once you get rewarded with the Tomorrow War.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Boston Strangler. Now, this was a real serial killer that operated in the 1960s in the Boston area of Massachusetts. And a movie is currently about to be released starring Keira Knightley and Carrie Coon as journalists who helped uncover the connections between these women who were murdered, because there was at least 11 women were murdered by the Boston Strangler.
Yeah, I believe at night in parks was the way he often did it.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Between the years of 1962 and 1964. And this will be on Hulu in the US and then Disney Plus in the UK on March 17th. So Hulu is where Disney releases their rated R movies in America. But then Disney, I think UK and in Australia, they have Disney Plus 17. So they release it there in other countries.
Wow, it's interesting that the other countries have the Disney Plus 17. In America, it still doesn't.
They all have different rating systems.
And
Every country.
it's how the brand is viewed, I would say, in other countries.
I guess.
They don't want to get rid of their family-friendly brand in America, I would say.
Because they have all the goddamn theme parks here.
Yeah. But yeah, the Boston Strangler was something we grew up like knowing about.
Yeah.
And it's no connection to the Scranton Strangler, by the way.
I bet it was influenced by.
Oh yeah,
Boston
obviously,
Strangler.
yeah. Next up,
who I still think was Toby. A lot of signs point to Toby being the Scranton
I've seen
Strangler.
like a video of the theory of
It's pretty incredible.
Next up, there is a remake of the classic horror film Then from director Mike. Them. What did I say?
Then.
I said them.
Sounded like then.
I said them. From director, before I was interrupted, from director Michael Giacchino, who just helmed Werewolf by Night for Disney Plus. And so Gordon Douglas directed the original, and it's about a huge nest of irradiated ants who are discovered in the New Mexico desert. They become a national threat when two young queen ants and their consorts escape to set up new nests. The national search that ensues culminates in a battle in spillways and storm drains in Los Angeles. Giacchino's version will be focused on immigration, however. So I love classic horror films. We'll see how Giacchino does. I heard he did a good job with Werewolf by Night. Maybe he'll even do the score, too.
Did he do the score for Werewolf by Night, too?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
I'm not sure.
He might have been too busy directing it. Next up, we have Edward Norton news. He's learned he's a direct descendant of Pocahontas. Really?
Yeah, so there's this new show that takes celebrities to look through their... It's called Finding Your Roots, and they use like legitimate evidence to trace back the roots of people as far as they can. And so Edward Norton has always said that it's a rumor in his family that he is the great whatever grandson of Pocahontas, and it was always just a family rumor. And then he went on the show, and they confirmed it through a legitimate paper trail that she is his 13th grandmother.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's wild when you hear about that, especially who was the one, Tom Hanks being related to Abraham Lincoln, right?
I believe so.
Was it Abraham Lincoln, I think?
Something like that, yeah.
That's pretty interesting, too.
Yeah.
Our last bit of news is the Little Mermaid remake has been rated R. Just kidding. Sebastian's going around with a shotgun. No.
Little Mermaid, Blood and Honey.
It's obviously been rated PG, the live action remake of Little Mermaid has gotten its official rating.
Yeah, it seems to be the rating they wanted, and it shows you that it's not going to be much violence or action, and it's just going to be more kid-friendly, which is, I'm not surprised by. That's what I was expecting.
I wonder if Ursula's going to be in this movie, right?
You know who Ursula is?
Who?
It's Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's right. That's great.
Yeah.
Ursula, she has to be in this movie.
Yeah, she's the villain. Yeah, she has to be. But Melissa McCarthy, I think, was a great choice. She seems to have their charisma, and I can't wait to see her stretch her villain chops. I think she'll be fun.
She's like such an eccentric actress, and I love the role she chooses. So I would love to see her as Ursula. That seems like a kind of a no-brainer if you think about it.
Yeah, she's super talented. So, and the images look good. I'm looking forward to seeing a first official trailer, like a full-length trailer. I'm sure we're going to see sometime soon. I mean, it comes out later this year, so it comes out in December, I believe. So we're going to be seeing the first trailer sometime soon.
What did she get her Oscar nom for? Was that for Bridesmaids?
Yep.
She's so funny in that movie.
She's scene stealer. Yeah, it's one of the best comedic performances of all time.
All right, that wraps our movie news number 81. If there was an origin story that we missed, please
is
let
this
us know.
Little Mermaid origins?
No, it's a remake. It's not the same thing, you know.
Yeah, it's live action remake.
We got our Rise story with Evil Dead Rise.
I'm just like, I feel dried up.
Me too.
Without an origins.
Another one, 2 weeks in a row, no origins. Where are they all?
Come on, Hollywood.
Come on, you're letting us down. Now I want the origin stories.
But we do have Lucius Rise.
Actually, I don't want the origin stories for anything other than news.
Yeah, just to laugh about. But we got Lucius Rise.
Lucius's Rise. Evil Dead Rise. All right, take care, everybody. Make sure to stay tuned for episodes this week. Tomorrow on Monday, we have an episode on a Johnny Depp career spotlight, going over his entire filmography and life, which was an incredible episode to film. It's like 2 hours, so you're going to enjoy that. And then after that, we have something cool. What did we film?
We filmed it last night. I can't remember.
What was it?
It was Raiders of the Lost Oscars.
Raiders of the Lost Oscars, our second annual award show where we choose the winners, getting ready for the Oscars. I think y'all like February. It is a blast. All right, take care, everybody. Make sure you get those live tickets to our show at moments.co/Raiders of the Lost. Those are the tickets to watch the digital live broadcast, or dynastytypewriter.com. You can find the live in-person tickets in Los Angeles there, or just go to the links in all of our bios. That takes you to the different types of tickets to purchase. Take care, everybody. That's on January 21st.
See you next time.
Thank you for watching Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, notifications for sure. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to podcasts, and be sure to check out this other content we have on our YouTube channel.